Hello YouTube, this is Froogle. Now a number of people have asked how do you use Pfpx and Topcat 2.74 together to produce a full flight plan for the 777, including the wind data and including the takeoff performance data that you can get out of Topcat. Now I already did a video on how to use Topcat, but I'm going to work through some of it again right now in a rather quick overview, a very high level overview of how to use the two tools together. So first, Topcat. You need to make sure that you have the 777 in the aircraft database in Topcat. The way we do that is fire up Topcat, click on aircraft, click on add. Now I'm flying the British Airways 777, so that would be Golf Zulu Bravo Alpha Victor. We'll drop this down. It is the 777-200LR. I'm going to allow assumed flex temp takeoff and a derated takeoff and a combination of both. That's going to let me in the CDU choose takeoff 1, takeoff 2 and put in assumed temperatures. It wants to know where the config file for this aircraft is. Click on browse. Find your flight simulator on your computer. In my computer it's C, Program Files x86, Microsoft Games, Flight Simulator 10, Sim Objects, Airplanes, and then within that directory find the PMDG 777-200LR. There it is. Open that directory, click on aircraft, click on open. It will show you the liveries that you have installed. Choose the one that's applicable, in my case British Airways. So select. Having done all that, let's go down here. This all looks good, but just to be sure, it is a British Airways flight, so everything is metric. That's great, and we're looking good to go. So we will save this aircraft. That is all we need to do. With all that done, we can quit Topcat. Now let's fire up Pfpx, and we'll go plan a flight in a very quick and dirty fashion. So when Pfpx loads up, the same principles apply. You need to go into the aircraft database and make sure that your 777 is in there, but you also need to link it to Topcat. I'm going to show you how to do that in a second. It's not as complicated as it sounds. So up the top, click on the little airplane, drop it down, choose aircraft database. Now I'm going to add in my British Airways 777, so new aircraft, and this is Golf Zulu Bravo Alpha Victor. It is a excuse me, it is a 777-200. That one will do. That's all looking good. We don't need to worry about most of this stuff here. Okay, you can just double check it and make sure it's all good. Everything so far looks good, right? We don't need to worry about any of this until we get down to here. Topcat Performance Module. Click on Edit. And then this is the list of Topcat modules that you have installed on your computer. So scroll down here and choose 777-200LR. Click on Apply. That stores it in there. Just double check everything over here looks good and the ETOP stuff looks good. We're good. Save it. Save the aircraft and we're done. There's our new aircraft right there. It's ETOPS certified, hence the E. Golf Zulu Bravo Alpha Victor. Close. Now we can plan a flight. Click on flight, and just like in my quick and dirty Pfpx video, we are going to do this in a very quick and a very dirty fashion. So drop this down and choose the airline that you're flying for. In my case it is British Airways. So the list is alphabetical based on the airline's name, not their code. So just scroll this down until you find your airline. Where's mine? There it is. Flight number, I don't know, 9876 today. Going from Heathrow, EGLL, and I think today we're going to go and do a fairly short flight out to LSGG. Great! Based on current weather, notice I'm online, it's picked up takeoff runway is going to be 9 right from Heathrow, landing runway is going to be 23, commercial flight number is BA 9876. Since we dropped the W on a commercial flight number, it's only 2 letters and then 4 numbers, usually. Could be less numbers. The aircraft we're going to fly is our trusty Boeing 777-200, the British Airways one. Click on that. That sets everything up here. Now payload, I'm not doing a virtual airline flight today, so I don't care. We'll just go random payload. That's setting up everything that Topcat is going to need to calculate my performance. Let's click on fuel. Fuel policy is EU operations. Obviously we're in the EU. Let's plan an extra 30 minutes of time because I take a long time to power it up. Let's plan at least 30 minutes for hold time, just in case, because we're flying over there, which is mountainous and nasty. We're all good. Click on route. Drop down the route box here and choose find. It will find a route that works for you. Now let's go ahead and choose an alternate. Drop this down, choose find. Let's find an alternate with a nice long runway. That one looks pretty good, and it's only 50 miles away. Double click it. That's our alternate. Click on route and click on find. With all that done, all you need to do is click on compute. Okay, now we want to get our performance data. Here's how we do that. Up here under aircraft, or over aircraft, there are two buttons, takeoff and landing. Click on takeoff. It will fire up Topcat, here we go, and tell you what it's planning to do. So it's telling us optimum flaps, optimum thrust. Well, no, we're going to have flaps 5. And yeah, alright, give us optimum thrust for these settings. Anti-ice is going to be off, but it already knows that because of the weather situation, so calculate. Now you've got two buttons here. Append throws everything into the scratch pad, which is just a temporary text area within Pfpx. We don't care about that, we want it in our flight plan, so click on apply. Great. Now click on landing. Pfpx knows the route we're taking, it knows the weather we're facing and everything, so it can fill this in better than we probably could by hand. Flaps 30, manual landing, packs on, anti-ice is not going to be required, calculate. Once again we can append to the scratch pad or apply. So having applied it all now, if you look down here, you'll see takeoff data. We're going to have a flaps 5 takeoff. Our takeoff power is going to be derated takeoff 1 with an assumed temperature of 70 degrees. And for landing, it's going to be flaps 30, VREF is 131, V approach is 136. With all that done, we can export everything out to the 777 very, very easily. We click on release the flight, and then we click on export. If you have your folders set up correctly, as I do here, all you need to do is go down and choose what you want to export. So I'm going to export a Flight Simulator 10 file, just because I use that in other software like the EFB. Not prepared. We are going to have the PMDG wind uplink. We are going to have the 777 route. Notice the route name, EGLL LSGG. So our departure and our arrival airports 01. We will need to use that in the cockpit. So once you actually get into the cockpit and you're on the route page within the 777, you're going to click on that company route field and type in EGLL LSGG01 and then click on the button next to it to load it. That's it. That's all there is to it. Click on save and you are good to go. I hope this was useful. I hope this cleared up some of the confusion some people have. I will see you in the next video. Do feel free to click on that subscribe button. See you soon.